continue now to look at some of the other top news stories today. And New York police officers may be given a sharp rap over the knuckles for allegedly heavy-handed tactics against Occupy Wall Street protesters. And it's this video coming up on your screens now that was taped last Friday that led to one of the inquiries. The officer, as you're about to see, no, that's the wrong video, I think. The officer, thought to be a deputy inspector, was filmed grabbing an activist from behind. They are the wrong pictures, obviously. Punching him in the face and knocking him to the ground. An independent agency that deals with complaints, that's the right picture, against New York's police say they're also looking into an officer using pepper spray on peaceful female protesters too. Now, this campaign against big business and banking in the US has entered its 5th week. I think on the line we can talk to Meaghan Lenick, one of the organisers of the Occupy Wall Street movement. She's experienced some tough police tactics herself. Meaghan, thanks for joining us on the line from New York there, all a bit last minute that. Now, we've seen these pictures, we just showed our viewers there, of what looked like strong-arm tactics used by the police. Do you think any members of the NYPD should be held accountable?
Thank you for having me. Yes, I do think they should be held accountable, but unfortunately, we have seen police brutality in the past many times in New York City, especially with protests such as these, and more often than not, they are not held accountable, and there's no repercussions for their actions.
It's ironic, isn't it, that Washington's always quite quick to condemn violence by police against demonstrators when it happens in other countries, but not so quick when it happens on home soil, rather more silent. What do you think about that?
Yeah, and it's also ironic that when we see uprisings in the Middle East, our government wants to refer to them as democratic protests or protests calling for democracy.
Yes,
but when we do it here, they want to focus on the violence, and they want to focus on they don't have a message or such and such. But it's a completely double standard.
Well, especially in your country, you've seen the media knocking you, saying, some of them are saying you're a pile of layabouts. Basically, you don't have a clear view of what you want, where you're going to go. You're just basically sitting there. In the early days of this, we heard that it was you were stronger because you didn't have a clear movement, a clear message, because if you did, it would give the people like Wall Street more power. But, I mean, if you don't have this clear aim and strategy, isn't it just going to be seen as one giant global moan, do you think? There's a danger of that, isn't there?
Well, I think there is a clear message. It's Occupy Wall Street. People are at Wall Street for a reason, because we want to hold big banks and financial capital accountable for what they've done to our country and what they've done to our world. And just, in the United States, the inequality gap is one of the highest in the entire industrialized world. And it's been exacerbated since the financial crisis, and what we've seen with people losing their homes and their jobs, and with these CEOs getting these huge bonuses, these corporations making record profits, and this huge bailout is a massive transfer of wealth from the middle class and the poor directly to the top 1%. And people, we don't feel we live in a democracy that we can participate anymore. And so that's why people are out there on Wall Street operating in a democratic way to try to create some sort of alternative on a small scale, and hopefully we can build and grow from there.
Well, Meaghan, there's an awful lot of people that do agree with you around the world and that do listen to what you're going to say. But, of course, it's White House and Wall Street you really want to get listening. Do you think you're going about it the right way, and do you really expect any positive response from them?
Well, no, that's the thing. But the only way we can't ask them. We can't make them. They're not going to. Power concedes nothing without a demand, but power doesn't concede to anything but power. And the only power that we have is the fact that we are the 99%. We are the majority, and that's why we're coming together. It would be silly to make a demand now before we have our full power, but we don't have that yet. We're growing every day. More and more people are coming out. Our demonstrations are getting bigger. Our Occupy movement is spreading to cities around the country and around the world. And I think we're only going to grow. And once our power does sort of reach its peak, I think at that point is when we can actually start making our specific demands and start moving forward.
Gotcha. Meaghan Lenick, thanks for being on the programme. And, we've been covering what's been happening where you are and around the world very closely. Our coverage will continue. For now, though, Meaghan Lenick, Occupy Wall Street organiser, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well,